Just usually I have my battery pack, but I don't.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm 40% will get as far as we can.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So we'll just call them or.
Randomly, I have a battery pack upstairs if we get to that point. We need
Okay, cool.
If we have to.
Normal, I'm fully prepared.
For this special meeting of the Edmonds School District Board of Directors is called to order, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Minor.
Well, thank you very much. For those of you who were here last year, this is, we're gonna do our data review study session in a very similar way to last year. We're gonna have some presenters and we'll have us moving out to those round robin tables in just a little bit. But to kick us off, Jason is gonna go ahead and just share a couple of slides before we move over there.
Excellent, thank you so much, Dr. Meyer. So, yeah, we won't spend a whole lot of time today before we move over to that side of the room. But basically what we wanted to do is share with you our, based on the WASD Standard 2, our high expectations for student learning with clear goals and plans to meet those expectations. And we're gonna focus today on increasing the overall percentage of students who are graduating on time and steps we're going to take to do that. Ensuring that every kindergarten student is ready for first grade and to make adjustments as we need. And then ensuring every student is at or above grade level in math and reading and make adjustments as needed there as well. So in just a moment, like I mentioned, we're gonna head over to that side of the room. And some of the cabinet members are going to be paired up. We've got some representation from student learning. Nicole Rodriguez, their director of multilingual education, is here to support me with the kindergarten table. And Mark Madison, our director of CTE, is here to support Greg at the graduation quiz table. And then the pairings that I was thinking we could do already maybe got a little bit skewed since Director Chase, you have Keith now, so I think the two of you will be paired up, and then Director Katims and Director Cramer, if the two of you could pair up as we rotate.
No, Tom is out sick tonight.
Oh.
He'll attend the regular board meeting via Zoom, he won't be here.
Okay, thank you.
And,
Hi, Keith.
oh, great. I'll give him a minute to come on board.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hi, Director Smith. So at each table, we'll spend about 10 minutes. I'll be monitoring the time and we'll let people know when it's time to rotate. We're gonna be highlighting for you the professional learning that we're doing, some of the key actions and efforts that we're taking to support building leaders and teachers throughout the system. And then 10 minutes at each table should give time if you have any questions about the topic that we're covering there as well. After we do the rotation, so that'll take about a half an hour, we'll come back together and we can debrief as a large group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So over in the back corner, kind of between the whiteboard and the bulletin board back there, is the grad rates table. There are handouts there that everybody can have so you can look at the slides that will be referenced. So let's have Dr. Schwab and Mark, why don't you head over there, and how about we have Director Chase and Director Smith head over there as well.
Hi, Keith. We are now walking across the room.
And then the table closest to the doors, Dr. Jungle will be there with Executive Director of Student Services. And let's go ahead and
just grab my keep what we're doing. I'll just grab that.
And then the final table will be Greg Schwab, and Mark Madison, Dr. Meyer, and Dr. Baumgartner. How's it going? You join us there.
And then we want, come on, maybe keep your feet up.
Good.
Actually, if you want to, oh, and great, thank you.
All right, can we do 8 and then give us a 2-minute warning?
Where do you want us, Dr.
You get-
here?
Estimating what the results from last spring. So I'm just going to have to look at that.
regular what's online meeting. If a kid was absent and didn't take it, they counted as not meeting.
Right.
For the receiving line.
Yes.
Then after that, you'll see in your packet SB result.
This.
Map.
Yeah. There. So if we. Actually, right here, here, look at that. Even better. There's no reason to have this kind of setup. It's for this situation, mostly. Okay.
All right.
COVID really had it.
Are these,
Yeah.
Just board members.
And then you see, if you turn the page, state comparison for SBA ELA, about 52%, and perform slightly higher, 2% higher than ours.
So, we're gonna spend our time, 10 minutes or so
We're pretty
focusing on
close to the free
the work we
reduced
continue
meals.
to do, to.
But this is
reduce
now all grade levels
our
put
percentage of
together,
students who graduate on time.
which always kind of
Like, I think the first couple of slides
hides
you have are, some of the different data sets.
I'm assuming you guys have looked at it.
This is just the model, so you get a good idea of the state comparison. And then if you look at the other page, it's the comparison
Then
SBA.
another thing we pay attention to is the correlation.
What do you think we went down
And
ELA from 23 to 24?
specifically for our
That's what we're trying to find out, because we're projecting through our,
Like implementation?
well, we're implementing our new finance program.
You would have to look at that and see if that were coming.
And we just adopted our new finance program this year, just
But,
around.
so you looked at the different grade level. What, did you feel like elementary is where, did you see an implementation dip there? Well, here we can look.
In some of the schools that I support, I could see an interesting dip in
The
the
next couple of.
I mean, here we don't have the 23 next to the 24. So we can't see it by grade level.
Because I keep you here.
Which one are you looking at?
Is it in the first page?
Not the only following page.
Okay.
But
This is the only grade level stuff that we got, if I recall.
And then when you look at the federal rates and the video program page back here,
So,
just around there.
paying attention to all that data, the things that, the first one talks about,
Yeah.
just the efforts
There,
that
and
they
again,
make
just like that's
in professional development. So one of the first things is really arming our principals
So we
with the
see,
ability to use these data sets we have. So make sure that those homework, iReady. So we're always trying to provide them with the tools they need, to be able to get the data that they need.
But I think, I mean, it's clear to me, one increase.
We do this mostly, we have our SLTDs that we meet Monday, we also have networks as well.
So,
To focus
ones that-
on the use of data as a way to keep track of kids.
Is there any particular intervention of the ones you listed in this?
There's just, it's like,
More needed?
except for the ones that are really small.
Yeah, I think really
You know,
what we're trying to do is find out.
so you're gonna see a lot of variation.
What
You know, you just see this,
we know that it's.
the gaps, and it's been that way for 100
It's
years.
specific about the kind of data sets that they use.
We
So-
can't get rid of those gaps. We bring them all up, but they all, it's like,
And so we're working, for example, on graduation mark.
Maybe we need to find out which trend, but the gap still exists.
yeah.
Basically, along the, kids
So when you look at the next,
where it makes sense.
the best way I think, and as you probably know, is we really have to focus on excellent teaching and learning for several areas. And so the professional
So
learning,
we're working on
we're
trying to make sure that we're
provide
getting
our staff on district community days.
Yeah, you get what you mean.
So we're thinking about strategies,
Yeah.
very much like.
So I would say
project
another one
design
is
and how
now implementing the
interdisciplinary,
mastery based strategies is giving data to the counselor so they can easily identify who the students are eligible.
what I've seen.
So that they can easily assign that credit to mastery.
This is
So
kind of
that is also a unique.
They're little silos.
SEL work is SEL.
But I keep going,
Day, and then we do writing, and put everything in just separate buckets. So what we're trying to do here is incorporating SEL strategies to ensure strong literacy
Is it-
skills, because when we think about belonging.
Well, I actually.
I mean, you track it,
I track
I've
mine.
seen you track it, right?
Yeah, but in terms of counselors, it really boils down
Things, but
to,
at the end of the day, if you're reading
there are a lot
at
of
grade level,
if
you're
then
looking
conditions to
at
determine if a student,
So we want to couple,
actually is
reading at grade
eligible.
level.
So we work very closely with
sense of
our
belonging.
data folks to
Kids who
develop
read at grade level.
conditional
Kids who
reports
can
that how these are
comprehend,
run.
understand
And then
vocabulary,
identify, here are the students
ultimately
that
feel a
meet that
sense of belonging.
criteria.
We
Meet
are-
I mean, up to this point, we've had about
So
50
they're
kids.
using
that are
self-awareness strategies, asking.
It is, and it'll definitely grow as we get into
Developing
second
their
semester.
skills to ask, what am I?
So,
This making sense
you know,
to
I
me.
also mentioned.
Self-management is a
Yeah.
sales strategy,
I know a
but
lot of our schools,
self-management
especially our high
is
schools,
helping
focus
students
on
persevere,
attendance
stamina.
as a measure of.
Longer periods of reading stamina and making sure that that's being daylighted in reading instruction and responsible decision making. Students identifying goals for reading and during our presentations, we share a lot about kids setting their own personal reading goals. That creates a sense of belonging. So we have to think of this in an interdisciplinary manner and not put it into separate buckets. And then relationship skills, reading is a collaborative process. So is learning is a social construct for sure. And also sense making is, there's a social aspect of it. It's effective to make, do sense making with other people, versus always individually. So all of these four things that you see here are strong SEL strategies that I emphasize, but not in relation to literacy. And so we're trying to make that shift. And the more we do that, I think, our staff will be more open to learn, wanting to learn more about, oh, how does this apply into science? Oh, how does this apply into, student-led inquiry groups? And we have the collaborative literacy project that's, Jason's working on. And there, we're trying to focus on following the curriculum, and not just at face value, but in understanding what the national standards are, and what it means to use the district and not, we want our folks to feel like they have autonomy and they have the ability to make things clearer, and we know stopping from doing that, it's gonna happen regardless. But there are things, there's a scope and sequence in our curriculum that we need to follow because it reflects the common core. We don't want to set standards, we don't want to pass over something that, we know that it's gonna spiral next year, but there's some essential standards right in the third grade. And do our teachers know which ones are the ones that they need to focus on? And how do we have this interdisciplinary mindset?
So then in terms of,
leading all of this
instructional
into
leadership,
behavioral
again, I
experience,
think we're
literacy block or
focused on
math or
ensuring
science.
that there are.
So when you
lots of
talk about
activities
making
or
it
strategies
easy,
that
I'm
are
wondering to what extent there's,
support all of our students and
a direction to have students do reading for a purpose. I'm reading this to use it somewhere else. I'm using it to solve a problem. I'm using it to make connections to something else. I'm using it for a reason. Would be one of my interests, and the other would be to what extent is their work toward making it engaging,
And this really started.
giving kids choice, giving kids choice both when they read and the purpose that they're reading sometimes.
To start moving the needle, so how do we have.
Because I think those two things are huge in terms of making a difference.
Every student last spring, every student.
One of the things I would add from a special education perspective is we're doing parallel professional development on the SEL strategies, the collaborative problem solving for a lot of our special ed teachers at the end of the year. Kind of started to implement
Good morning, let's go for
an approach.
2 minutes.
This isn't a problem. It's a problem that they have behaviors. We need to help them understand what's the long-term impact communication and moving in that direction. And then these kind of paralleling the collaborative literacy project. We had training, again, in that August 27th date, where we worked with special ed teachers on writing standards-based into IEPs so that there's more of a focus on what's the standard that we're trying to reach for a student who might be
And that's what they have to try to work on for that.
lower than they know, but they're Community access before the
Class.
That had been going on for, in terms of how goals for special ed kids, that they were like, here's the standard and here's the special ed continuum that leads up to it.
It's not pain, to your point, but we've got some folks that need learn how to do that.
Yeah, we got it.
So some of the instructional leadership moves that we're doing, trying to reinforce through the making sure that we understand what the instructional needs are for kids in literacy, and making sure that we have
Yeah,
good
And then lastly, just to work with
practices.
students,
And
implement
making sure
strategies
that
to
there's
reduce chronic
excellent
absenteeism,
personal teaching
overall student.
happen, so that we don't have to.
Do we have a sense, is there any like general theme on the attendance rates? Like, is there any like
So we do
specific
have a
thing?
literacy
Keeps
block.
popping up, I'm
We
just
are
not,
asking
or
for
is it?
You know, I think it's a
reading that to
lot
allow
of
us
different-
to
a lot of different
contact
factors.
areas, and then giving them guidance about expectations for the district.
That's hard to cross about.
Isn't that reinforcing the silo instead of interdisciplinary?
Well,
Because that's what teachers say, oh, but I have to do this, and they don't understand, well, when you're reading in science, that's
On the other hand,
Good
that's
comments.
this is very specific.
For them to be exposed to all these minutes, you have to make them decisions.
Kindergarten time.
They don't have
I
this is what we're
All right, everyone, thank you so much. Let's take about a half a minute to finish up your conversation. And then, when you're ready, we'll rotate. We'll rotate clockwise if you're ready.
Probably heard before, at least, and then I can talk a little bit about.
This is the same as this, why do I have two? I don't need you.
You could take this. Because this is just our section, if you have any questions, you can.
Yeah, probably not. They're all just kind of like this. Okay, cool.
All right.
Yay.
So again, you see the longer data we looked at before. The first slide is just our first back and then the next slide is
It's
something.
like, you don't have to draw a straight line.
It's a little wavy line, but, and then the next slide is
Jason,
looking at
we're gonna
attendance.
talk,
This is one of the factors.
we're gonna talk through kindergarten readiness.
We
Make
also
sure that all
disaggregate
of
that
kids
by
are ready
race
for
and
the first
ethnicity and by program. And then the
So I
other
just
thing we're
need
looking
to
at
direct your
is
chaser.
our ninth grade on track data.
And what I'll have you do.
We know
direct your
what the
chaser.
data says about ninth grade, and so we get our ninth graders off on the right foot.
I thought that was really interesting and sad.
Yeah, it is.
It's sad.
It's an interesting post-COVID phenomenon that we're working to climb out of.
Well, it also, what's different about the year we're higher is that's the COVID year
That's the shutdown.
where we changed grading practices.
Yeah, no Fs. Do no harm.
Yeah, and you know what, it's not.
Yeah.
If only
Yeah.
to look in there.
Yeah.
FaceTime, it is
And then we look at the same data disaggregated by race and ethnicity. And then one of the other pieces of data that we pay attention to is our dual credit enrollment. We think that's an important data point. Again, the more kids we can get engaged, if we can get them engaged in dual credit courses, again, the greater likelihood that we can get them to graduate on time.
But when you say dual credit, isn't it dual credit with high school and college?
No, not necessarily.
No,
We have
it could
CTE dual credit. We have lots of different partnerships.
So where they might take one CTE class and get 2 credits, like.
No,
By
I'm
dual
sorry,
credit,
college credit.
they are college credit
They are
courses.
college
Yeah,
credit
so it would be CTE dual credit, college and high school running start.
But they're not gonna get more than 1 credit toward graduation by taking the dual credit class. It's like for college, right? Or for AP.
Right, again, that's how many classes they take, obviously,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
So,
still need- they still need
I'm
to-
trying to understand, it's not like
Jason, thanks so much.
it's opportunity at that
No.
point in time.
But our data shows that.
Now that you've just got the
enrolled in
direction
courses.
of
Students that enrolled in different courses
So we
tend to
can
do
do
better
better.
Yeah,
academically
because
overall.
there are kids who are higher achieving.
But even a ninth grader who we get into a dual credit course, and this dual credit CT course, again, we're trying to get them exposed to opportunities as early as possible.
if we can, that's great.
So then in terms
Is
of,
that new? I mean, would we see that in the data yet?
I think we haven't looked at the data, we
Our participation rates on that are certainly better than last year.
I mean, it looks, I mean, here, well, this is frustrating, because the numbers go up and down, but the number, they're like, but clearly, 22, 23 was better than 22. But it's a little, sort of up and down. Here it was really high, and so 4 down there.
So then, let's talk a little bit about professional learning. I think it's even important with this. So one of the first things that we focus on is just, unfortunately, I can't even run.
We're talking about ninth grade. We have data on the classes that we decrease class sizes in our pay grade.
We do. Would you like to know that?
I would love to know that.
So we need to do this. I'm glad you asked that question, because I haven't. So we now have 2 semesters worth of data.
Can you send this to us?
So here, and so the courses that we are,
Kindergarten, and how
This
they are
is-
as they enter in fall. So it's.
this shows you the courses overall. So Algebra 1,
And it
Geometry,
measures 6 different
Biology,
domains: literacy, social
physical
science,
science,
physical.
Earth-based science,
and
History 9.
And we have been increased.
So what you can see is, this is over time, so you can see,
So this is year.
this is semester 2.
But again,
So it's 2
just-
years we're doing it, so it's semester 1, semester 2.
No, this is just semester 2 over 4 years.
Oh, have we been doing this for 4 years?
No, we've only been doing it for 1 year.
Okay.
But actually-
But we're looking at this compared to,
Semester.
if it's making a difference.
Right.
Okay,
So,
okay.
in, for example, in 2021, in 2021, this was the COVID period.
Can you make it a little bigger?
You can see,
They would have.
Not yet.
Not quite yet.
Not quite yet. Yeah. They would have been pretty little. But yeah.
So the next slide,
how about
then the next slide will.
Very, very impressive.
So, in
First
2021,
so
so this is semester 2, so
And,
really,
if you don't see
68%
far
of
data
our
on the
students,
kindergarten students don't take it. It is algebra 1 is the teachers are
in
focused on.
23-24, semester 2, so last spring.
But they do take it in the winter,
70%
and they take it in the spring, and you can see the green bars.
Geometry, 79%, is there STL as the reason that they're.
But if you take the sum of the 61%.
What was the first one?
79.
Grade level standard.
From 79 to
And
89.
that increased to 80%.
And then, biology,
We're seeing some
88%.
good growth there. You know, our overall increase in
90%.
is grade for the first
They're all like 2 to 3%.
Physical science, 81%.
And then on the next slide, we see
76%.
math data, and that one.
Which one, what?
Physical science.
If you add the sum of the two.
Earth-based science, 81%.
Right, like
2021, 88%.
Wow.
And 68%.
Which one was that?
Earth-based science.
So
History 9,
60%, not quite as strong as our
85%.
Well, they are capable. They are capable. It's a
Do you guys
computer-based
have a
test.
theory
And in
as
some
to-
cases, they're just like.
Are there certain, are there certain classes that lend themselves for some reason to needing smaller classes, like,
I will tell you my theory.
tell me your theory.
Absolutely, it's probably another good reason to.
Grading practice is in the fall.
Right,
We're doing the same thing while we're there, we're just doing it for years.
right.
If we're truly
So
gonna
some
make
of
a
the things
difference
that
with
we're
this,
doing to try to address these scores and bringing different, and, I'm focused.
Right, so there hasn't been discussion about that. But in the places where we did
Last
see
year we
a good bump,
yeah.
I'm trying to think, are those classes where even doing the same instruction, by having smaller kids, smaller number of kids, does, I mean, you would hope the teacher would spend more time giving feedback, they have more time working one-on-one, but they're not.
I think the thing that's challenging about this is that there is
We have
not
a
a calendar,
district-wide focus.
right?
on
So that,
strategies
this could be the result of a couple of, like, for example, the first science could be the result of a couple of classrooms that are doing some really outstanding stuff.
Yeah.
and other classrooms not.
Most
Yeah,
recently.
you have one great teacher somewhere, they're gonna make, so like, how many classes typically would be represented by any one of these course of this industry? We
So,
talking 10 to
Algebra
5?
one, there's usually between 6 and 8 sections of
And then a
algebra
couple
one in
years
high
ago,
school,
I
so you're
launched
talking
a
about anywhere
project
between
with
24,
24
so that's a
24
lot,
to 32
yeah,
sections.
that's a lot of teachers.
Geometry, same, probably the same number. Biology, that's every ninth grader takes biology, so there's gonna be 40 sections of biology probably. Physical science is, physical and earth based are a sophomore level class, so it's probably
And more of a choice.
more of a choice, but you get a choice right there.
Half the number.
Yeah, world history 9, every ninth grader takes world line study, and another 40 sections there. World 10, every 10th grader takes world 10, so another 40
Well, we
sections.
need to get it in really
So little.
is the thing.
Yeah.
Because it was adopted in
Thank you.
which is a tough time.
And I totally agree with your.
So we're digging in and
Feel like I need professional practice as well right now.
Well,
Particularly with your.
what did Hattie say?
2 minutes.
Class size is like the last grade.
Yeah.
2
Okay,
minutes.
we're gonna cruise.
Yeah.
Okay, so training with administrators.
Yeah.
We train on data, we get them on, how do you get the data you need?
as far as
And
leadership
one of the things we
goes,
learned about cumulative in particular is that cumulative will give you the kind of data you need.
And student
So
learning
instead of like, here's a canned report, we've been asking principals, what's the data you need?
Yeah.
And we'll build that report.
That's great.
And so we're working on getting them that.
That's great.
happening.
Yeah, that's super.
We're continuing to focus on attendance interventions, because given how the actual practices that's managed. This is something we're really honing in on this year. You're gonna be glad to hear this. The unit of change, the graduation rate is the individual.
really focused on.
And so it is truly about the individual plan. So if Hawks off track, here's your list of kids, I wanna know what the plan is. What's Hawks potentially doing in kindergarten?
And who is the adult assigned to him who's gonna work with him and say, we're gonna do this, just make it happen?
So I was meeting with Jesse.
Are they doing that?
Yeah, they're doing that. So I was meeting with Jesse Goodsky today. We were talking about always working on this. And so he figured out that if I take 10 kids, my counselor, each of my counselors take 10 kids. We've knocked out 65 kids.
Really focused on more.
Wow.
And all I have to be responsible for is 10 kids.
Right.
Kindergarten.
That's doable. That's opposed to 70 kids, and we're all looking at supposed to 70 kids. How are we gonna do this?
Right.
Well, if Mark has 10 kids, and I have 10 kids.
Right.
Suddenly it becomes a lot more.
Right.
So, we're working down to it.
Because you probably remember way back when we tried this, and we were gonna connect each teacher with one kid, right?
Separate this from.
Barfield, right? Am I right? Yeah. And
Isn't it
it was like.
it's one of the most interesting things.
So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that.
And then the last thing we're working on is there's a really cool module,
We have our
cumulative, which allows principals and counselors to identify students who need intervention and then assign them a specific.
And then Nicole's team.
So then I can track it using, I can track the students who need intervention.
Streamlining.
So if Hawk needs intervention for better recovery, I can intervene.
Maybe specifically in the context of kindergarten.
Off track of graduation, here's his.
As much as possible.
He's gonna take you to courses and then recovery class.
When they're learning those foundational skills, they need to be
Then,
peers.
so it's already
So
built in,
how
so
are
I can track it.
and where
I
teachers
can run a course out of it, you know,
collaborate, teams to
how
support
I'm doing,
classroom space.
what do you do?
It kind of just like leaves the building. We also have some.
There was, I had a question, what is the
So
on-time
they just sit down and
graduation
talk about, these are the kids you have.
Just was telling Mark about that, so
Yeah,
it started 2 years
strategies
ago.
that would support them.
Chris Bailey and I got together and said,
Okay.
Chris Bailey said, I want to
Utilize that classroom space.
So
that
we started.
depends on the building.
So wonderful to work with.
We started working on it 2 years ago. We developed our graduation progress reports. We developed our 14-18 open doors program.
I don't know what that means.
It's a program to support students who are way out from graduation. These are different programs.
Yeah.
What else have we done, Mark?
Well, a lot of the custom reporting and building counselors, some of that is all that, yeah.
And so this year, the focus is on bring your students. And so the gospel is.
Oh, yeah, it's time.
Now we're gonna move.
It's time.
So is this a group-wide?
Principals and Mark.
Principals from every high school,
Yeah.
elementary school or just high school?
Just high school.
High schools, and Mark
Mark
and
and
Chris.
Nicole and Chris and Sean Schaefer.
Okay.
Build reports.
And so you guys meet every month to say,
What are we doing?
what are you doing? Okay.
Is there a way to ensure that every kid that leaves middle school?
Oh, Keith, it looks like you didn't get that. It says a message failed.
because we can do with algebra for the kids that are way up there. What can we also do with
We don't have that in middle school.
I think the challenge is, we ran into
You guys can go
middle school
ahead.
philosophy questions around, should we be pushing high school into middle school?
Right, it's like a potential, it's one of those
Right.
theoretical things that.
Well,
Because we had touched on it for years with,
And
some
Helen.
of the high school science.
Hello.
we have to get like credit for the engineering class and,
Director Chase is sending you slides.
OSBI said you cannot give high school credit for CTE middle school courses.
There used to be things like, my younger son took an amazing biology class at Meadowdale Middle.
Yeah.
That was higher expectation, higher rigor than high school biology was, but it was one of those cases where it's an amazing teacher.
in Spanish.
Or
Or
Spanish.
Spanish, or we even have an art class.
Yeah, it might be something for us to think about. The problem is, it's not likely necessarily to be the kids who are the ones who are gonna be needing the credits. I don't know.
But this is what, like, if we can start thinking about how we can get at least one knocked off for as many kids as possible. And maybe targeting a high school art class for those kids that do this,
Yeah.
so, anyway.
To give them some leeway. Oh, you're waiting for my chair.
I sure am.
I thought you ran those meetings with the band.
Oh, thank you.
And to me, that's a really sort of sign. Where you know how to teach, you know, I mean, it's
Yeah.
all, your learning targets, your goals,
Yeah.
you got us involved, you were engaged, you got, and you did it on time, and you got us to give you what you needed.
Thank you.
No, I was
Very
very
kind.
impressive every time.
Right, so we'll walk through these in just a minute, but I think if we want to take like 30 seconds just to kind of review real quick and then talk through and some of the things that
Consistent, they don't seem to be
make improvements.
So I had pre-looked at some of the stuff, but when I got to something, I just realized
You know, what?
something interrupted me and I didn't. Thank you for So,
Slide number 24.
This is the second part. No, this is second.
Howard Beason.
Sorry.
You can see the next grade on track to graduate.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think that.
this is, the blue bar here isn't the district, it's,
Slides 25.
it's the level of what's
It's
on target.
it's the district as far as who's showing that in all 6 domains. And then the domains
Okay.
are broken out by the lines up above.
So, I'm still, why am I not understanding this?
So
Um,
it would be that.
So this is, so looking at this here,
Mhm.
this is kids who were on target at the beginning of the year?
In the fall, correct.
In the
This is done
fall,
in the fall.
for all 6 domains? Okay, so that's like 54%.
So we do
And
see.
then this is the disaggregation of that, but why are those all so much higher?
I would need to look into that, but my assumption would be that because it's not always the same number of kids in every single one. So, you know, what, you know, 80 whatever percent of kids.
Oh, because this is by domain, is that right?
Right, and the blue bar show all
Okay,
of the.
and okay, now I got it. So it's like our kids did best in purple.
Correct.
Which is physical, and next in literacy. Okay, I get it.
Yes.
So what was the domain that was the hardest for them? Language? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
No, Katie, ready, the one down here? This one?
No, I was looking here. So of the domains, but there's still, I'm trying to, I mean, I used to know what kids, like I was giving it, and I can't remember, but there's a big difference between, there's a language and there's like a cognition, literacy, yeah. And one is more
Yeah, I brought
Like what you
some
want.
words in there.
Okay.
The more you belong to.
Yeah, this is like vocabulary more.
Language.
Language, am I right? Yeah, it's more, so students who are like from low income homes are more likely where the parents are less able, for whatever reasons, to be talking to them a lot. Don't come with the same, but literacy, which is really important.
Classroom reading skills questions.
They're, okay, they have it. Okay. Thank you. Very helpful.
So they're coming in higher than they have.
They're coming in higher than they have for quite some time.
They're at that weird year.
Which again is, I mean, it's not, it's how ready they are at in the fall.
Yeah, it's a function of the if they had preschool, it's a function of the early childhood. And we know, particularly for low income kids, they had a good preschool, they're there with everybody. And if they didn't, if they just were at home watching TV or whatever.
Yeah, and there was one of those groups that they were talking about the reading goals. And so I think
That's responsible.
that one.
And their relationships.
Yeah, that was big.
Reading is actually all their process, and
They were-
So this looks really good.
Yeah, and that's the winter.
Well, that's the first time it's given.
That's the first time it's given, that's correct.
And it's normal to winter, so, yeah.
And then you can see there's a growth from winter to spring. If you add the two toned green bars, it went from 61% to 63%.
It's called the Collaborative Literacy Project that Jason's working on student learning, and they need to make sure that we create.
So this shows that only 20% of our kids at the end of kindergarten,
Follow our
20% are one grade and four.
strategies to do that.
Correct.
Of all the kids.
That's what that is.
But we also know iReady is not valid or reliable at kindergarten because the publisher tells us it's not supposed to have reliability, so we don't know what it means.
So
One of my pet peeves is they have, well, we have an assessment rating. Well, it's actually, they don't have reliability and validity data for K1 and 2. But I was particularly concerned in kindergarten, they're using kindergarten as an online multiple choice test, it's not valid or reliable, and then it goes on.
2 minute warning.
We tried way back and they, yeah. But it's not just iReady. No standardized, no. There are, like, Waukee is absolutely valid, reliable. It was developed for kindergarten. I mean, there are good early childhood assessments. But once you get to the standardized, K-12, we can cover your whole district, we can, this is like, no, you can't. ITBS, remember ITBS, at kindergarten, if you scored a random, like if you went in and randomly put in, circles, you got grade level. On grade level, because I did that study a long time ago. Sorry.
So we're short on time, so thanks for taking a look at those graphs, but I just kind of want to tell you some of the things that we're doing to improve things in the system. So last year we implemented the foundational core reading program. So focuses on the basics, the foundations, phonics, phonemic awareness, decoding, spelling, sight recognition.
That's the 95%.
That is absolutely right. And worked a lot with teachers to skills for kids so that they would have the foundation to start toward comprehension. So that basis level. We've taken a district-wide focus on strategies that will promote other comprehension learning as well. So we've talked a lot about background knowledge, vocabulary skills, verbal reasoning skills, and literacy knowledge. And then most recently we had a professional development abbreviated exam that's dedicated toward teaching discourse skills because learning to read and should be collaborative. And so
We use case logs for our counselors.
I'm running what
So they have.
had a good name before me, but the collaborative literacy project. The past couple of years it was
That's 10 minutes.
implementation of their foundational skills. But I shifted gears now as we're focused more on the comprehension side of things. And really taking a look at my district adopted materials, diving deep into those, making sure everything is evidence-based, and also that it's being implemented. So that group will take what they find back to their buildings, share it if they just need to.
So is it still like the same structure that it used to be, where we have the trainer model, or?
It's like that in principal structure.
Is there follow-up from student learning to check in on what's actually going on at each school? Because I mean, you remember when we did a study on that, and the rich got richer. I mean, basically, is the really great teachers got better and better, and that they were the collaborative literacy trainers. But if they weren't involved in the collaborative literacy, then we didn't see a change in the other teachers who were receiving.
Yeah, I hear you. So this year it's more of a working group with working teams, and so they'll be bringing their work back or part of to share with teachers and to start working towards that program. I follow up with each building afterward.
And we are seeing
I didn't have a short
the utilization
slide
from that through based
working based, and so but after
last year was the
the
first year that they were getting in
I
this year.
shared a condensed version. That's the idea. Is going to share all these.
What's an example of an artifact?
Well, in this case, I'm looking for literally going to curriculum lesson by lesson. And if we find practices that are listed there, just the evidence-based anymore, since we've had this for a while.
Are you talking about the benchmark? The unit of study.
So we'll mark down where anything isn't evidence-based and what can be done.
These are some of the things that
will be. Because we'll have this program for this make it work and make sure. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, so.
We do have the digital learning networks that are running PLNs. Student learning introduced that. And we will have principals there. Talk more with principals about practices that they observe in the classroom. What's it look for specific observations. We're supporting schools with their tier 2 instruction, that was their tier 1 instruction, so through math programs. One of our major focuses is making sure that students are being pulled out their core instruction, so they're all being covered. And tier 2 is doubles up. Some schools are running what they call a room model. Sure, it's one of the presentation how that looks at analytics. We've got that. And then we were encouraging differentiated instruction between tier 1 team in the classroom with the classroom teacher, even if students are receiving additional from a specialist.
To what extent do you think the teachers are comfortable really doing differentiated instruction? It's hard.
I think it really depends, and I mean, it's something that we've been working towards for a while, but it is difficult.
She's okay.
I mean,
Is that part of like
instances where it's really been.
Take your time, but when you're set, we're gonna return to the regular for 10 minutes, about 3 minutes or so.
I'm just, we probably don't have the resources to be doing the walkthroughs and the debriefs that we used to do, observations and.
Not looking different.
Yeah.
And that was conscious, and I was a lab person.
Yeah, I probably did hear
I think we're trying to use the principal learning networks as a space to do that, and then share ideas with principals and things that go back and share in their buildings. Obviously not as robust as if you're able to send a bunch of teachers on learning labs, but yeah.
How's the principal engagement with PLNs? Are they excited about it, or are they just like, give you a sense of their
I
level of
think, and
engagement?
the ones I have been involved in, they seem pretty engaged. They like plan what their learning is. So they are directing what they want to learn about focused on. I'm leading one this week in Chase Lake, because they were all interested in learning more about how to support multilingual learners in their spaces, and that was how to support the multilingual learners. And so that was an area they wanted to dive into. So one of my team members and I are going to go there and do some professional learning with them around some strategies. So.
How many principals have you waiting?
Ooh, so good question.
So it's all the most local schools now.
Yeah, so I think
That's a lot.
it's kind of a lot. It's bigger this year. They were smaller last year.
So it's about a dozen.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 10 to 15, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
For the elementaries, do they mix it up, or once they're in it, that's their field?
They'll be in it for the year.
For the year.
And they go first.
So they do walkthroughs? As a group?
Yeah, like at each other's schools. So Chase Lake is hosting on Thursday, and we're gonna walk through classrooms at Chase Lake.
And then does it debrief afterwards?
Yeah, we talked about, and like the context we're gonna be doing on Thursday, specifically around strategies that Chase Lake is wanting to see and implement in their building to support students who are acquiring language. And so we're gonna debrief about, did you see that? And like, what did you see or did you not see? And how, what can you do next time?
I sent you the PDF of the slides. You got that one? That worked better than
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate all the work you're doing.
I can send the others too if you want. Yeah, we can do that real quick.
Folks who supported that from student learning and from cabinet, I really appreciate your involvement, and board directors, I hope you learned a couple of things during the walkthrough, and I thought it might be nice to just come together as a whole group. I don't have a slide for this or anything, but it's kind of a general debrief before we break.
There's a lot of really great work being done, really all throughout the district. It's really impressive to see what you guys are doing at every level. And it's interesting to see, I mean, it seems like there has been like incremental growth in a few places, but what's exciting to me is to hear really the information we got about the increased attention to grad rates, the punitive measures student by student, and plans around wrapping services around directly involved people.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it all, but I was particularly pleased to hear what's going on in terms of I had to ask you what the graduation task force was, but I thought that was great. But particularly the taking every student and having, what is it, it's not called, it's an individual student plan. Now, is that for every kid or just every kid who's behind credit?
Behind credit.
Thank you. And assigning a person, and yeah, no, that's great. That's great. But the moment a kid, I assume that's a fluid group, and yeah. Fair.
Keith, you have anything you want to share?
Sorry, just give me a second. You know, there was nothing specific that jumped out as like stuff that I really hit on, other than I really am impressed with the amount of work that everyone in the district is doing to take this information to us. This is always a very helpful meeting for me to get to see kind of where we're going and where we've been. So just gratitude to everyone there who's doing that. And, you know, we're coming, I think we're finally starting to get data now that is far enough removed from COVID that we're starting to see some normalization. And so it's good to see sort of that stuff. I don't think we're quite where we were before, but you're making those strides, and I think that's a real testament to everybody in the district. So thank you so much.
I would say in particular, what I appreciate is how intentional it all seems to be. And that it's very tied to the goals that we've identified as the most important goals. That we're looking at data, we're thinking about what actions are being taken, then we're looking back to see, like we did talk about the data regarding the ninth grade classes, where we had lowered class size. So we can really rethink, is that a resource that's being used well or not being used well? I think if we're going through a cycle of continuous improvement that makes sense, that's like, here's our goal, here's our strategy, here's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna look to see how it's improved. And and the involvement across, I mean, to see all of, cabinet here, or most, is this all cabinet, nearly all cabinet, whatever. Close, a lot of important people are here. Who are doing a lot of important work. And so, that's important, and it speaks to your leadership, so,
Well, it really speaks to all of them leaning in, identifying this problem and figuring out how we're gonna work together. And even tonight, I feel like we are so aligned now. Greg said, hey Rebecca, another question you can ask when you go, even as we were meeting with them, another question you can ask when you go visit principals. And I was like, yep, that's a great one, so we're all like, the principals can anticipate what they're gonna hear from Greg and what they're gonna hear from me, and I'm not gonna be off on some tangent about something else. We're all gonna, we're more predictable, I think, than we ever have been.
and I like that there's high expectations. And there's intentionality and high expectations, and we have to keep that, because we know those are important indicators of where you find effective teaching and learning and success for kids. So.
And recognizing that all this is with a vastly reduced staff.
Yes.
And so that's what, I was reflecting about as you were talking, I was thinking, and you've got rid of so many staff members in the capital. So, hats off.
Well, let's not use the word properly, let's say,
Well,
reduced, decreased, but across the board, but everybody's, what you do is you hump it down, and everybody's working very hard, and we appreciate that. And I think as a board, we really like this kind of session.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry Tom missed it, because it's, particularly for a new board member, a really great way to jump into the data. So I'll work with him to make sure that maybe, try to go over this. I can't do it justice the way you guys did.
Well, and if you, great, I think that's good feedback for us. We certainly enjoy doing something different.
Very much.
Normally I would have joined one of the teams, but this time I had the opportunity to go around and participate kind of like what you did. But if you like this, we'd love to do this again for the for the spring data review, not yet, but just kind of, April, yeah. I think it's a fun way for us to get to address your questions more individually, and
I would say another half hour, and I know we don't like, if it's a study session, it's before a board meeting, it's hard on us, I know that. But if we could make it an hour and a half, because I felt rushed. I felt like I wanted to get into more.
And I felt like I was rushing you, so.
Anyway,
so we could certainly, maybe next time, we could just start right at the tables, and just go
well,
from
not only
there.
that, in spring, there'll be more data.
Eric's just checking, I think it's before another board meeting, we can certainly go till 6:15, or we can start it, if you all can make it.
4:45.
If you can make it, we can start at 4:45.
Can you make
Enough lead time,
Keith, can you make 4:45?
In April?
It's on the calendar now.
Yeah. Put on a quick notification.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, we can start right at tables.
Yeah.
Probably do that.
Call it order.
Oh, it's April 1st, and it's not before a board meeting, so we can just start at 5 and go till
And we won't
6:30.
need to do April Fool's jokes on us. Don't even think about it.
It would be fine opportunity.
Anything else for the good of the order?
This is lovely, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all very much, and for all the work that you're continuing to do. So this special meeting of the Edmonds School District Board of Directors is now open, and we will continue at 6:30 in the morning.